And here's why. Okay? We've all seen this. We've all used this. Lift with your legs, not your back, right? How come nobody does it? There's shortcomings to lift with your legs and not your back. There's a lot that goes into a proper lift, what I call a squat lift. Okay, it's a traditional squat. You're just having to pick something up at the same time. Notice ankle, knee, hip angles. There's a fair range of motion that has to happen in that. You know what? Anyone with knee arthritis or knee pain really doesn't want to bend that far, right? So if I'm going to go and pick something up and I'm trying to bend into this proper lifting position, but my knees hurt, guess what? They're going to stop, and what am I going to do? I got to still get down to the floor. So what's going to happen? Okay, so it's not that anyone's totally trying hard to hurt their back. It's that, you know what, they're avoiding pain elsewhere. So sometimes I just have to get it through to people and say, look, the best thing for knee arthritis, range of motion. Actually, it's counterintuitive. They don't want to do that. But the more that you can go through and get stronger in your legs and get better at squatting, the less it'll hurt your back. It's way easier to replace a knee than a back. Promise. What's the common working posture? When you have to pick up something off the floor. These rangers are pretty fit individuals, but still have the same reflex of, how am I going to pick something up off the floor? What's the fastest way, the most efficient way, because the body's really good at being efficient, to get you to the ground? Bend at the waist, because that's going to get me down there the quickest. Unfortunately, okay, it's not the muscles to use. Those of you who hunt or know the body, what kind of muscles are along the spine? Long, skinny. Are they meant to hold a lot of weight? No. They are the back straps, right? I'm getting this. Okay. Back straps are good because they're tender, because they're not supposed to lift a lot of weight. Okay, what kind of muscles are around your hips? Big, strong leg muscles, right? What's the biggest muscle in the body? Gluteus maximus. Okay? You know what the biggest sandbagger muscle is in the body? Gluteus maximus. Strange thing. I gotta tell you, out of all different motions that I'm working with and people with injuries and stuff, it is the one muscle that really doesn't want to work. So it's really working against you here and there. And mostly because this is what's efficient. Okay, but hey, you know what? Maybe go to the gym. Seen a gym?
Heard of a rumor.
There's an exercise when you go to the gym and you actually hold weight and you go like this. Anybody know what that's called?
Deadlift.
It's called deadlift. What muscles am I supposed to be working on?
Your back, your legs.
Here, this is the pivot point. That's where I'm supposed to be lifting, okay? But what happens? Not everybody has great form. And so, this is what we're doing. And then what happens? This is where you're working, and not your legs. Okay, so it's just the awareness of keeping your chest straight, and that's going. So, because if I have to reach over something and get into it, look, I can't squat to get it, right? But if I keep my spine straight, that's how I do it, right? So there's a lot that goes into lifting with your legs that you don't quite realize, and then some dysfunctions that happen because of it. This is someone that, one of my private clients, but also a colleague, he's a CrossFit instructor and an Ironman athlete. Two totally different things. I mean, like, wow, no wonder you're seeing me. Okay, this is something called a functional movement screen that tests people's functional movement. You'll get a little taste of it a little later. Okay, but so this looks pretty good, right? Looks a little bit like the same angles here and there. Okay, but knowing how fit he is, what I do to check this assessment, because I see a little foot thing going on right here, and a little back thing going on right here, and so I change one thing to change all that for him. What did I do? This is a rolled up yoga mat. all I did was raise his heels up a little bit. And do you see the difference in that form? So what would you say would help this person with his, like, help?
Wear high heels.
That's exactly what I was
So
thinking,
I
too.
tell all my oil field guys that you need to go to work in high heels. I love that. Stretch your calves. Okay? Get better ankle mobility. The thing about ankle mobility when you're in work boots all day is it's kind of counteracting. Okay, so it's important for people to understand that work boots are meant to protect your feet and your ankles, right? Not rolling an ankle. But you can still, even if you're in fairly restrictive work boots, you can kind of work on your ankle mobility. So just being aware of that aspect is really important, and a couple calf stretches really help function throughout the day. Does that make sense? So when we take someone through training and we can watch them lift, I say, you know, here's where you're tight and here's where you're not, and just try this different foot position or push your hips back a little, and they're like, oh, that's all I had to do. Okay? You don't have to always go home with back pain, Advil, ice, blah, blah, blah. Hey, how about a few calf stretches? How about a few squats every time you go to the bathroom? Okay, you're in there anyway and you're doing one. I tell all my guys, I say sit down and go and do 10 more. Sorry, wives like it when I tell the guys to sit down. But hey, why not a twofer? Why not go for what you got going on? Okay? So the attitude of how you take on your day and the awareness of what your body is doing during the day makes a huge improvement just by changing a few little things.